Hi guys, this is Krissy from InTheStarsByKrissy.com, and today I'm going to be doing a video about August 2019 Astrology Horoscope Monthly Reading. So this is just to show you guys what's happening in the skies right now and to give you insight to it, to the energy and planetary alignments that are going to be creating some form of major influence in our lives in a astrological perspective. So yeah, I'm showing you right now the chart that I'm using. I mean the program that I use for my astrology forecasting. So yeah, and I'm also going to be picking a tarot card for each and every zodiac sign at the end of the video, just to give you guys additional information and insight on what you can experience as a whole, just to give that a more flavor on the energies that would be affecting you in specific areas of your life. So if you want more information on that, please do stay with me until the end of the video. And for those who are in concern if I'm still going to be doing, the usual monthly readings for each and every zodiac sign, don't worry, I'm still going to be doing them, and I will upload them after probably I do this astrology reading video. I'll be start working on those, so don't worry about that. This is just an addition that I wanted to do here in my channel. So yeah, let's start. Okay, so here is the chart for August 1st 2019, and I hope you guys can see this cursor, so I can you guys can follow me along, because there will be times I'm going to be pointing out on specific degree points and planets. So yeah, the reason that I am focusing on August 1st is because of the new moon that is going to be happening in Leo, and it is going to be at the 9th degree of Leo. And at that time, we are going to be experiencing a lot of invisible planets. We're in Mars is invisible, Mercury, and Venus. So this is going to be creating a lot of impact for each and every one of us. Not only that, but it is also because the sun is going to be under the rays of Saturn right here. So there is an element right there that a need for control, a need for discipline is going to be very important. And this also means that the area where Capricorn is at this time could have some form of effect to what this new moon is all about. And it's also going to be under the fixed star of Australis, which is also Athele. And this will be in relation to the story of how Hercules defeated the Hydra and how he was caught off guard. So if you try to Google all about this, you will find out that a lot of websites are going to say that it has a lot to do with blindness with the eyes, which is very possible, but it's not something that you needed to treat in a very literal sense. But I would like to just share the story of Hercules, and because I believe that the fixed stars, the dynamics of what happened in the mythology always gives some form of reflection to what we are going to be influenced by. So this is the point of Athele and Hydra. That is actually the point wherein it is the point wherein Hercules is off to fight the Hydra, and he was caught off guard because the Hydra has called an ally, which is the crab, to sting his keel, and it got him injured, of course. And and he has no way to, fight back or turn the tides around. And until he remembered that he had his nephew who is hiding in the shadows, and and cowering in fear and all that. So he was shouting his name and he's not showing up. And it took a bit of time before the nephew of Hercules take a stand and had the courage to, stand up and light a torch of fire to it and then burn Hydra down. So what does this mean? So because if you guys can see, Hydra is over here to where the Mars is. So this means that the Mars and Leo point in the chart, in this chart, in the alignments in the sky, basically, is going to have a form of Hydra kind of energy, wherein we might experience people on all levels maybe doing something very aggressive, very mean, reacting in a very violent manner, or impulsively doing this, doing that. Those kinds of things are very much prominent. And because Mars is already combust here, I would say that it is something that you should been seeing starting the last week of July, around this week, basically. While I am uploading this video, I'm uploading it around July 23rd, so around 22 onwards to the end of July. You should be able to see the difference, how people are more reactive to things. It's easy to trigger them, they are easily mad, those kinds of things. And this is what Hydra is, it gives that kind of effect. So even though at this time we are receiving the grace of Jupiter, it is still in retrograde, so it's not really giving us the best of its blessing. And it will be the grace of Jupiter in Sagittarius is going to just give us its benefits only after the full moon occurs in August, which is around August 15. And that is something we needed to keep in mind. But it does not mean that there is no forward movement. It's just that the wonderful things, the blessings, and good fortune is going to be bestowed more on us around the end, around the full moon, basically, of August. So yes, we might see a lot of forward movement. We are probably having a lot of energy. We wanted to push forward on things. But I feel that the effect of this is really more of, something we are doing that is not beneficial. And especially if you are acting upon anger. So if you're acting upon reactive emotions, this is not going to be helping you. It's like you're digging your own grave. Those kinds of energies could come. And like I was saying before, this story is about Asali. We all know that Hercules, because I'm talking about Hercules right now because the storyline of the fixed star Asali is very much connected to Hercules. How he defeated the Hydra, how he has a lot of heroic deeds. He's very popular. It's just like Leo. I am the boss. I am someone everyone knows. I am easily noticed. But just like Hercules, things did not occur just like that in a blink of an eye. There were a lot of hardships. There was a lot of unfairness with the opposite sex, because we all know that Hercules had his tough life because of Hera. So that clearly means that there is something in our life that some form of twisted events that we cannot control has occurred, and we felt helpless, as if we can't do anything about it. And maybe it has a lot to do with the opposite sex. That is a possibility, but there is some form of unfairness that has occurred in our life, and it is something that we eventually have to overcome. And this is what Asili is all about. It is going to be helping those people who have been, doing things in a very honest and um, humble way, I guess. If you're acting upon integrity and doing something to help another person, those kinds of things, this fixed star is going to be beneficial for you, because it's going to give a boost of success in your life. And this is also the fixed star of, union and separation. So you might see that there could be relationships that are going to break apart, and there are relationships that could be reunited and be fixed. And this is because there is an element here of, Hercules reaching for an ally, and that ally of his, which is his nephew, is hesitant. He was hesitant at first. He was afraid. There was a lot of fears and anxiety because, I don't know, he's gutless, I guess. But eventually, some form of conscience is creeping out on him, and he had to do something to stand up and fight. So we can say that there will be probably someone in our life, which we can consider our partner, our ally, that that maybe did not have any guts to take action, to move forward towards you, to give you any help. But this time around, they will have that energy to do so. They will be able to reach for you and to make things work out, basically. Again, this is just a prognosis of what I'm picking up with this chart. So because that is the dynamics of what the story of Hercules is, I'm pretty sure that there is a working together kind of energy from people who have been very distant before, but now they're coming into terms of some form of crisis. And we might have that realization that probably someone actually is important and has value in our life. So yeah. And then also the reason that I'm showing you guys this chart is also because to let you know that August is actually not a month to take things on another level. So since we do have a lot of invisible planets, and I believe that the sun is always representation of God and the all-powerful one. So, and it always is a representation and symbolism of our own awareness of things. So it's just like when Mercury is combust, when Mercury is very close to the sun, there is a form of delay on things in a very mercurial level. It could be that it's not easy for you to communicate your thoughts, it's not easy for you to speak up, those kinds of things. But eventually you are able to convey whatever you need to do so. So I would say that whenever a planet is combust, there is some form of preparation stage that is happening. But it also depends on how the planet is. Like, is Mercury happy? Is Venus happy? Is Mars happy? But I have noticed that when Mars is very much combust in the sky, it is angry, it always manifests in a very exaggerated way. So I would not say that when a planet is combust it is weak. It's nothing like that. I would say that when a planet is combust, it's not working in the way that it is normally functioning. So, and it does not always have to be something detriment, because I have always been observing combust planets by transit, because I don't know, maybe because people are usually so much focused with the birth chart, and I know that they are important too, but I really focus more on how astrology is affecting us on a day-to-day basis. And if you don't have an invisible planet um, in your own chart, how are you going to be affected when a planet goes combust? So that is really what I was working on for quite a while. So I did a lot of research on that, and I also did an article on this on my blog. So if you have not seen that and you're interested to know what each planet can do when it is combust for you, just check out the link below this video. I'm going to place the link right there in the description box, so do check it out if you want. Anyways, so yeah, um there is something about friendship and connections to people that can have some form of conclusion or resolution of some kind. And this is also the time wherein people that have been people like criminal type of people, people that have been doing wrong things to us, or probably things that are not morally accepted. They are going to be experiencing some form of downfall during this time, because I guess they are going to be they're going to be exposed that kind of a situation. So it's very easy for us to spot liars. It's very easy for us to know things that, like I said, the sun always gives awareness to the planets that comes near to it. So even though they are combust, it's easy for us to be sensitive with Mercury oriented things, to Venus oriented things, and to Mars oriented things, whether it comes in a very exaggerated way or not. So yeah, and since for the month of August, Venus and Mars is going to be very much prominent as a combustion throughout the month. So relationships with the opposite sex is going to be, coming into the surface. There's a lot of reflection that we are going to have to do and deal with those kinds of things. I would say that there is a need for prudence in each and every time, especially when Mars is combust, because there could be some form of karmic influences on whatever you do later on that you might regret. So this is especially true if you have a lot of Martian energy with you. So a lot of fire signs could, practice some form of self-discipline during this time. So yeah, like I said before, this story is related with Hercules. So Hercules was caught off guard because of a crab. That I guess, how do you call that? That snip his keel. So which has causes some form of downfall on his side, and that is where the crisis started. So I would say that this is telling us that there's a need for to be cautious with the people that comes to us or sneak upon us, those kinds of things, to be careful of trusting people, and to really be more wary to think first before we act, and try not to push things too forwardly, those kinds of things. So yeah, um especially around August 14, Venus will be completely burned at that time. So let me show you guys. Okay, here. So, oh no. Okay, so it's not. Okay, hold on. 13, 14. So, yeah. Oops. Around August 14, like I've mentioned earlier, Sun and Venus is going to be completely burned because they are so close to each other. I would say that this is the time wherein a lot of women, or a lot of women will have insecurities in terms of their I don't know, feelings and emotions, those kinds of things. There are some form of problematic nature to that, and I will not suggest you guys to suddenly change your appearance during that time, because I feel that you might do it out of frustration, and this might just when the Sun and Venus comes in contact, it's like a contest of who gets to be popular, and of course Venus is going to lose on that. So I would say that there will be coming to a point wherein our love relationship, how we view ourselves, is going to be tested, or will face a lot of reflections all over. But there are a lot of good news that we are going to be receiving as well. So it's something that you needed to keep in mind, that not everything is really doom and gloom. And because the full moon that is going to happen on August 15 is going to be involving Venus as well. So yeah, it's going to involve Venus and Mars as well. And the full moon in August 15 is actually my favorite one, because it is at the 22 to 23 degrees of the zodiac, and this will create some form of activations with the previous eclipses. So I don't think I have mentioned this earlier, or did I forgot, but both the new moon in August and the full moon in August is going to trigger the eclipses points that we had around the past few months of eclipses. Like, for example, around January, I believe that we had the 15 degrees of Capricorn at that time. So, and 15-degree point is a very important point, because that is the point wherein this is where we are having right now the Saturn and Pluto conjunction, those kinds of things. So it's really telling us that about some unfinished business that we have in the past. This is the month we're in. We need to wrap things up. There is an element of, this is the month we're in. This is the last time that we can really to finish up things, to get back to the past, if that's what you want. Because once the new moon by the end of August starts, that is the point wherein we are going to be entering a new cycle at that time. So I would say that around September, that is a new timeline, and you should be where you are by the time that occurs. So like I said, it's like a domino effect actually. it only makes sense that Venus and Mars are going to be invisible at this time. And by the time that September enters around, they are both going to show up in the sign of Libra, which I find is very ironic because it is going to be touching the point wherein we had 2 full moons in Libra a few months back. So it's really telling us that, there is some form of storyline since January, and since January of 2019 till August of 2019, there is a storyline of a building up that has occurred from that first month of the year to August. And once we enter the September stage, that is really wherein implementation is going to occur, wherein we are either moving forward with someone that is very special to us, someone that we are meant to be with, or we're probably moving forward to greater heights and having a new path in life. So because as soon as the Virgo season starts, we're not going to be entering the 22 degrees anymore, the 22 degrees, 15 degrees, those kinds of things are not going to be re-triggered again. So it really gives us a feeling that some form of chapter is going to end. And remember, we also had a solar eclipse in Capricorn last January, and July we had the lunar eclipse in Capricorn. So it really gives us that feeling that something started at that time and then we are ending it at this time. But of course it's not going to end immediately. So after a few months, so around September, that is when that eclipse will have a complete stop to it. So I really feel that it's very important to find out in your own natal chart where is the 14 degree, 15 degree angles of your chart and the 24, 22 degrees of your chart, because they are highly activated. Especially since this full moon is going to trigger the 22 degrees, and that will activate the fixed star of Sadal-Sud, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Sadal-Sud and Nashira. And these two fixed stars are all about good fortune, good luck. They're actually all about luck, and they are under the rays of Saturn and Jupiter, which is both beneficial. And I really think this is really coming in at the right timing, because 2 days after the full moon, Jupiter, where is Jupiter? Jupiter is going to go direct. Like it says here, it's in S mode, which means it is, in preparation to be direct. By the way, it has been in stationary for quite a while now. And since it does not move so fast, it does take time for Jupiter to go in its direct phase. But we should be feeling a lot more happier now. I mean, I believe there should be a shift of energy that we are receiving from Jupiter even at this point in time. So it is going to be giving us something. But of course, again, this is general, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be different for you guys, because this is still going to blend into your own chart. So yeah, just mentioning that. And because Saturn here is very strong, I believe that it is going to play some form of role into things. It is going to be giving us something. So since this is the fixed stars of good luck, of good fortune, I would say that this is only going to be bestowing people that are of good nature, people that do not abuse things, because these are the fixed stars of overcoming evil, overcoming adversity, of issues that has a lot of trust in it, you know. And you cannot abuse this, because this is also the fixed star that can give this grace, those kinds of things. And those are only triggered if you do something, you know, in a disgraceful way. If you do something like abusing someone, or abusing all the good luck that you have, not giving back what you have received, or those kinds of things, it might manifest in a very different way. So yeah. And let's see, what do I have here? So since Venus and Mars are still, you know, tightly together right there, and they are going to be showing up around September, so I'll try to show it to you guys. Okay, so let's see, 1 month from now. Okay. Oh gosh, sorry, I went back to, okay, August. Oh my gosh, my computer is lagging, so sorry. Oh my god, what's happening? Okay, September. Okay, and then I'll go with days. Okay, so here you guys can see that Venus has started to show up, and then okay, so here we can see that Mars has finally showed up. So sorry about that. It was October, and it's going to be on October that Mars shows up, but Venus will show up around September. So yeah, and it will, you know, enter that Venus and, sorry, that Libra and Scorpio axis. And if you have been reading my blog, there was one time that I made a July forecast wherein I said there that the eclipses on July at that time is triggering the Libra and Scorpio axis. That has occurred during 2018. So the idea here is that there is something that has occurred during the Burr months, around October to November of 2018, that we needed to complete, or something right there. There is a lesson right there, and I'm pretty sure that was during the Venus retrograde season. And right now, I really find it very ironic that Venus is again in Scorpio around here, and then Mars is in Libra. So I don't know about you guys, but I find the connection right there, like something is talking right there. So I'm pretty sure that by this time there should be something that's a lot more clearer. But I am pretty sure that, you know, the trigger point of a new cycle will be the end of August. And September is really more about the phase we're in. You're starting something new now, and the forward movement starts from there. Overall, I really feel that August is going to be a real good month. It is a month wherein we needed to really practice our self-discipline, and there is going to be a lot of trials, a lot of tests, but it is something that it's going to be very much blessed. And I really like the fact that, both the new moon and the full moon has this energy of, having some form of integrity. I like the fact that Jupiter is going to be direct. I feel that, there's a lot of things that are happening for a reason. Like, the timing could not be just perfect. There's a lot of sorting things out energy. So when you sort things out, this means that there is some happening in the past. So I had clients for the last week or so, and they were asking me about some form of divorces. So technically, you would say that yes, you guys are going to divorce. It is lunar. It is the lunar eclipse season. It's all about goodbyes and endings. But and that is what other astrologers have told her. And what I did was I told her that no, this is all about fixing things. Something in your January season happened. Something in January has started, and the eclipse during January is not really that promising. It's actually quite quarrelsome. It has triggered a lot of fights, a lot of arguments to people. So something started around January and got worse around March. And this is a time wherein we really, really need to learn from our lessons from those alignments and eclipses. And this is a time to sort things out. And this is a time wherein we really find out if a relationship is really worth fighting for, if a relationship can really stand the test of time and can step up to a new level, a new stage of life, that kind of a situation. So, and what really made me happy is that um, she did not have divorce actually after the eclipse. Things fixed. They're happy. They are finally, everything actually sorted out. And I couldn't be more happier than that, because as the only person who predicted that they will be able to fix their situation, and I've combined astrology with readings for that prediction. So it's a bit complex, but I really believe that K2 is not really all about goodbyes. Like, yes, we needed to say goodbye to certain things, but I would say it's all about lessons. It's not always about saying goodbye. It's all about overcoming adversities, especially for patterns in our life that are triggered by bad habits, those kinds of things. So yeah, August is really a wonderful month, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I really feel that the clarity is going to happen once this cycle is over. um yeah, like I said before, predictions and all that, when supported by astrology, is really fascinating. So yeah, so now I'm going to be picking up cards for each and every zodiac sign, and to give you guys some form of insight and clarity to how the energy alignment of July is going on for you, for more information, that kind of thing, and probably advice on how to deal with the energy. Okay, so these are the cards that I've picked for you guys, for each and every zodiac sign out there. And the focus on this reading is to give you guys some form of insight and clarity on what you can expect, what you need to know, and some form of reminder and guidance, especially in the areas that are going to be activated for you guys, which is the Mars area in your chart and the Jupiter area in your chart. So I'm going by this through one by one, starting with Aries, and this is going to be creating an activation on your fifth house. and being supported by your ninth house. So let's see. The first card, sorry, I'm so used to the usual readings. Okay, so the card for Aries is the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is probably going to be popping up for you in your fifth house. So this could be something to do with your love life, could be a lover, or someone that you find in an online dating, or could be someone from afar coming into your life. The King of Wands is like someone who is a master of all elements, especially with the fire as well. So this is like a surge of energy coming for you. So there could be someone from overseas making his way to come to where you are. This is about a person making an effort, not just any effort, like a very concrete effort wherein someone is going all out to make an impression to you. That kind of scenario. Yeah, because the ninth house is about overseas or education. It could be someone that you used to work with, or you had a project with, that kind of thing. It is a very exciting energy for you guys. A lot of things, a lot of happy situations that could come about, since the fifth house is the area of love, sex, and romance as well. It's like that exciting energy, and it is involving someone in particular. So yeah, I would say that this could be either a man that is very attractive, that maybe you have always wanted but did not pay attention to you. That is a possibility right here. So yeah. And okay, so for Taurus, what is the card for you? You have here the Queen of Pentacles, and this is going to be activating your fourth house and eighth house in your chart. And the fourth house is the house of family, the house of your home life. This could be represented by your mother, if not you. And even though you are already you're already a parent, or you are already a lot of mature and older, this could mean that you might be receiving some form of guidance and support from an important female that could help you in a crisis situation. Eighth house is quite psychological in a way. It has a negative connotation. It is somehow heavy. It could be that you are going to be earning money through, because maybe you are waiting for some form of money. You're waiting from some form of person who is haven't paid you their debts, and maybe they are going to be coming in right now and to give you some form of security that you need, or giving you some form of answers. This can also mean that you have been patient for about a certain situation in your life, and there could be answers that will be given to you by a specific female. So I don't know, but the Queen of Pentacles is going to be, can represent anyone actually. But when I was tuning into it, I suddenly had that urge to say that it could be a mother. So it could be your mom, someone else's mom, or someone that you have given high respect with. Their wisdom and guidance can be a saving grace to help you in your problems and situation. So yeah. And this is also telling us that whatever efforts that you have been through, whatever are the things that you have been having some problems with, because I would assume that
the area where the eighth house is has been like a hot spot for you recently. So this could have been triggered a lot of emotional ups and downs for you. And this is like giving you a sign that, you know, there is some form of divine intervention that is going to transpire. So if you have been praying, asking for help, asking God for some signs to show you the way, this could be that sign wherein, you know, someone tells you something and it gives you that feeling wherein this is the message, this is something that's meant to be, this is something that is not meant to be, you know. It gives you some form of answer to whatever it is, you know. It could be a positive thing or a negative thing, but it gives you a form of confirmation of the path that you should take, and it will be something that's very beneficial for you as well. So, okay, so for Geminis, we do have the Wheel of Fortune, and I really think that it's very fitting for Geminis to have this because Geminis is going to be activating their third house, and seventh house. And with Leo in their third house, you know, being highly activated by Mars and a stellium, like the Sun will be there, Venus will be there, a lot of planets are going to be in your third house. And the Wheel of Fortune is telling us to slow down, slow down, and to calm down. Um, this is like telling us to learn how to listen, learn how to compromise. I mean, you might be saying things a whole lot to the point wherein you're not listening to someone. You know, maybe someone is wanting to talk to you, someone is wanting to compromise with you, and you know, it could be something that you have been waiting for quite some time now, and this is always a good sign. It's telling you that the wheel is finally turning. Any communications that has been delayed is now about to move forward. You know, you can expect something to happen in your day-to-day activities. You just need to keep in mind to learn how to listen. Learn to listen and to not jump into conclusions. So yeah, listen and try to understand the other person as well, so you guys won't be clashing out and all that. So you are going to be receiving support from your seventh house, and your seventh house is partnerships of all kinds. This could be relating to other people, it could be relating to your partner, your marriage, and all that. So yeah, there is a chance for you guys to sort out things that have been in a rut, that kind of situation. So, and it's something that's probably fated to work on. Okay, so for cancers, you are having the temperance card, and this is happening in your second house and in your sixth house. So for cancers, I feel that there is some form of healing that is needed to be done in your with your body, I guess. The second house has a lot to do to whatever it is that is sustaining you. It could have a lot to do with your own energy, with your body, or with the money that you own or earning. But keep in mind that the sixth house is also to do with work and service. It has a lot to do with your health as well. So maybe this is a sign that maybe you needed to do some form of healing. Maybe you needed to go to a doctor, or you know, you needed to sort something in your with your health. Like I've mentioned earlier, I'm suggesting that, you know, all cancers out there, whether it's your sun, moon, rising sign, or even, you know, a representation of your mom or every female out there, to get themselves checked up. And there's nothing really wrong with that. You needed to keep in mind that the greatest abundance in this world is not really material things. It's not really the money that you're earning, but your own health, your own body, and your own wellness, I would say. Because you really cannot do anything with money if you are getting sick in the process, right? So it could be telling us to get a lot of water, drink a lot of water, because with a lot of Leo right there, maybe something right there is drying up, right? So there's a need for you to really take care more of your body, especially this time around. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So, and also I would say that to be careful with, impulsive purchases, impulsive buying, because maybe you're having that urges to buy something for my health, but maybe you're doing things over the top. Balance is always the key. So do things in moderation, and don't overdrug yourself or anything like that. That is not really the best way to handle this energy. Okay, so where am I? Yeah, the sign of Leo. Leo, this is happening in your first house, and will be getting some form of support in your fifth house. So the Two of Wands is all about visions and planning and decision making. So maybe this is a time wherein you are going to be sparking an idea of what you want to happen. Um, Maybe a lover can give you an idea on what is it that you might want to do or what you should do in your life. This could be, some form of creativity coming to the surface of things. This could be, you are going to be receiving news from a lover, from a child. Maybe someone is pregnant, or maybe you're pregnant. Maybe you are going to be receiving news about that, or you are going to be receiving news regarding your child if you have one. Those kinds of things. So yeah, remember that this is the card of planning, visioning. So it's not telling you to push through and implement it impulsively. If you have an idea, write them down and really take things in consideration, make a lot of planning, save all those ideas, because I'm pretty sure that with fifth house right there in supporting you, it can be very changeable and not really that consistent yet. So if you try to push things, I'm pretty sure that by next month you are going to change your decision, change your mind once again, and it's not really going to be productive. So yeah, because I feel that you are going to be receiving a lot of downloads, especially when you have a lot of combust planets in your own sign. One thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of internal work that is happening when there is a lot of combustion in a specific sign. So if you try to implement things, it could be creating not really a lot of mess, but it is a lot of hard work, a lot of uh, a lot of frustration to deal with, because one problem is going to come up in another. So I would say to plan things carefully and try not to be very impulsive with things. Okay, so for Virgo, you do have the Eight of Cups, and this is going to be making an activation in relation to your 12th house, and will be receiving support from your 4th house. So there is something going on with your 12th house, and maybe you have been feeling this already, since most of the time we are not really getting the energy as soon as the month starts. Usually we tend to feel the energy like a week before the month. So it's going to be it will vary depending on your own chart, on how the general prediction is going to blend in to your own chart, but it is carrying over that energy at some point. So there is something happening in your 12th house if you are a Virgo ascendant, especially. So it could be that you're facing some form of problems, you're facing some form of maybe you're being pessimistic about certain things, losing confidence. So maybe there is something that you have to sacrifice, you needed to leave a situation behind, or this is just you wanting to find answers into things. The 12th house is a very spiritual card as well. The 12th house is a very spiritual place, not card. The 12th house is, all about the mysteries of life, but at the same time it's also about misfortune and all that. But now that you have the support of the 4th house, it feels like whatever it is that you felt unlucky about, if you have been getting some form of misfortune, there is going to be guidance that you are going to be receiving, probably from your family, or it could be that you are just having this need to retreat because maybe you have been overworking yourself and now you just needed to have some time to rest. A lot of Virgo tends to go over the top. They tend to work too much to the point wherein they end up sacrificing a lot of opportunities in their life because they are overworking. So do not let it go to that point. Learn how to pace yourself, learn how to balance. And also I would say that if you have entered a scenario in your life wherein maybe it was a mistake, this is probably the time for you to correct it, to leave whatever it is that you needed to leave behind. It could also be that there is some form of major lessons that a lot of Virgos are experiencing. And another possibility for this is that maybe a lot of you guys are going through past life regression, so it is very healing as well. And those type of scenarios usually starts with a crisis, and it doesn't have to be something heavy, it doesn't have to be something big, but just know that there could be some form of crisis situation that could come about, but it will receive some form of help in relation to home, house, or family, or whatever it is that will give you some form of security and foundation, something that makes you feel safe. Maybe you are going to be receiving help, or a message or an intervention from someone you care about, or someone that has been caring for you for quite a lot, which can be your friend, your mother, a family member, those kind of stuff. Especially if you have gone to a situation wherein you feel lost, maybe you have gone through a wrong path and now you don't know what to do. So you will have the support. People are going to be supporting you through your journey, and you are going to be healing yourself in the process of that. So yeah, that's for you guys. So okay, so up next we do have Libra. And Libra, you have the 4 of Wands, and this will be creating an activation to your 11th house and your 3rd house. So 11th house is all about network. It's the social environment. It has a relation to the people that you know and you don't necessarily have to be in contact with. I usually see the 11th house as the house of the internet as well, because there's a lot of people right there. So it is receiving support in your third house. So maybe you are going to be gaining connections um, from the people that you already know before, that kind of situation. Or if there has been some form of communications that has been delayed, maybe you will have the chance to be able to converse and talk to them, because the third house has a lot to do with communications, and it is going to be receiving some form of support. And this could be the time wherein you are wanting to expand and explore yourself, getting to know a lot of people, and maybe you really will get a lot of people. The Four of Wands is a card of alliance and partnerships as well. So there are certain things that you are going to be fixing right there. And the Four of Wands can either represent a partnership that is very close to you, a partnership that, it's not a new one. The Four of Wands is like a relationship or an alliance that has a form of foundation already. So if you had issues with someone close to you, and maybe you had some form of misunderstandings before, but now is the time that maybe that is going to be clearing up. And this is a very celebration card as well. So maybe you are going to be fixing things in that relationship. So maybe you guys are gonna talk on the internet, or yeah, it could be just you busy on your day-to-day life and meeting a lot of people, socializing, being a lot more positive now, because Jupiter has been receiving difficult energies for quite some time now, and I feel that now that Jupiter is receiving support, especially during the time that Sagittarius in Jupiter goes direct around August 17, if I remember correctly. Around those time, you will see a lot of interactions and activities to those areas of your life, both the 11th house and the third house, vice versa. Okay, so for Scorpio, you have the Eight of Swords. And this is going to make an activation with your 10th house and your second house. And am I right? 10. Yeah, in your 10th house and in your second house. So the 10th house is your status, how other people see you, and career. And your second house is, yeah, whatever that is supporting you. So a lot of Scorpios might be focusing now a lot with their career and their work. Maybe you are needing a lot of money, so you're working your ass off to earn money right there. But the Eight of Swords is like, you're like it's like a card of entrapment. So it's like you are a slave for that career. So be mindful and take a time to rest as well. Don't try to overdo things. Also, this can have a blocking nature to it, because maybe you're overworking to a point wherein you are forgetting other things as well. This could also manifest in such a way wherein you are feeling depressed. There is something that has been bothering you, and the only way for you to get better or to feel better is when you're focusing on your work. So there is that kind of energy right there, and it could be that maybe you are in debt and you needed desperately to have to earn money. So this is the time that you are really focusing more on your work, that kind of thing. And maybe you're not giving any time with anyone at all because of that. That is a possibility as well. The Eight of Swords is really more of, being so much fixated on something else and you're not seeing any other options anymore. Another way this can manifest is that maybe you're hiding away, or but still people see you in a different light. People might see you as very serious, very rigid, that kind of thing. Or I don't know, this could also have a depressing nature to it. Or it's a nature wherein you're doing something excessively to the point wherein it doesn't really stand out in a good manner. You could be overdoing yourself to the point wherein something is being in a detriment to your health, that kind of situation. And so yeah, remember that money is not everything. So even though you're earning a lot of money, it does not mean that you are going to be happy just by working on that. So maybe it's something that you are going to come to realize sooner or later. Yeah, so this is really the card we're in. There is something that you really, really want, but you don't know if you're gonna have it. You don't know if it's something that you will have, or if it's something that will happen in your life. But remember that not doing anything is actually the same as not helping the situation, basically. So if you want things to change in your life, if you want people to see you on a different light, you needed to do something. You cannot just hide away forever. So if you want people to support you, you needed to do something for them to acknowledge you, for them to support and help you to whatever it is that is causing you some form of problem. So I would say to not be so selfish with things and not see things in a one-sided manner just because you have your own needs. So yeah. Okay, so now let's go to Sagittarius. You do have the King of Cups. The King of Cups for Sagittarius, this is going to be making an activation to your 9th house and your 1st house. So Sagittarius is a lot more happier. There is a very healing energy that they are receiving, and it's easy now for them to see things clearly. There is something that that is clearing up in their mind, and they might be taking action to whatever realization that comes to them. And maybe this is coming in a very intuitive level, or this could be them going on a travel, wanting to explore the world, seek, or it could be a running away kind of attitude as well. Maybe you are sick and tired of all the emotional dramas that has been happening in your life, and you just want some form of peace and contentment, peace and harmony, those kind of things. So you just want to go to calm water. So you might just shift your gears and travel the world, go overseas, those kinds of things. And this could be you wanting to learn something, to learn something that's not the normal kind of studies. Could be wanting to study astrology, wanting to learn about the world, those kinds of things. It is also somehow increasing your own sense of intuition, because Jupiter right now is being revitalized. It has been having some form of friction with Neptune for quite a while now, but with the support of Mars, confusions are just going to be confusions if you don't do anything. So I feel that for Sagittarius, they are willing to shake something in their life, to create something in their life. So whether that is in the form of studying or teaching people, it could be travel as well. Regardless what it may be, you are going to be like someone that people will look up with in that kind of situation. The King of Cups also the card of like the healer. So maybe you are going to show yourself out there in the world. Maybe you wanted to start a YouTube channel, that kind of thing, and show something about holistic healing, that kind of situation, and something you didn't plan, you just intuitively feel like doing. Maybe you are going to do that or something similar like that. But it feels like you are opening yourself with a lot of opportunities, and you're willing to take action to grab them. And ultimately this is like a feel good energy that you are receiving. Just make sure that the King of Cups tends to overdo itself. So try to practice self discipline and prudence as well. So also, if you have a habit of gambling, just know, learn how to limit yourself. And even though that you feel lucky, um, know that your luck will only go until some point. If you already won a lot of money, try to stop while you are still winning, that kind of situation. Okay, so for Capricorn, you have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups. And this is going to be activating your 8th house and your 12th house. So this is like showing me that there has been some form of struggle for you, probably recently, especially with the eclipses and all that. It's not really that surprising. The Ten of Cups is like a reminder that you can always ask help to the people that has some form of value to you, the people that truly cares for you, that truly cares for you. I see all tens as bonds and partnerships. It does not really necessarily mean marriage or friendship, or sorry, doesn't really necessarily mean marriage or family. Not all the time. It really means that the people that makes you happy, that kind of situation. So yeah. So there could be a situation wherein some form of unfortunate events has transpired in your life, and it has created one trouble to another. And it could be that there is going to be help going to be achieved, and some form of healing can be done. It could be a healing related to a family, a partnership, or a special bond that you have, those kinds of things. Or maybe this is an intimacy with that person. The 8th house is also the house of sex, and with the 12th house, this could be maybe an extramarital affair, like intense. There's something forbidden about that energy. So I would say, if that is the case, to remember, if you have a family already, think about the important people in your life before you engage with those kind of issues and things. But ultimately, I feel that this is really more of a help that you are going to be receiving. and coming from a crisis that has already occurred. So it's like telling you that, things are going to change and it will look up, especially if you are in a situation um wherein it kind of feels heavy and all that. The eighth house is not really a good placement at times, but the eighth house can also create a lot of excitement. And yeah, this could be some form of, sexy time, and maybe you might end up creating a family of your own after that. So who knows, right? Yeah. But I would say that there is something quite unexpected to expect. So yeah, so it's going to be surprising, and I feel that this is going to be acting like a blessing in disguise. So overall, I think that eventually it is going to be a happy event. Okay, so for Aquarius, you do have the sun, and this is going to make an activation to your seventh house and your 11th house. So this could mean that, you are going to be focusing on relationships, and relationship that is one on one. So maybe you are going to enter a relationship, or you are going to revisit a relationship that has already existed. Again, I mentioned this earlier that the 11th house is like the people that you already know, that it's not necessary that you're in contact with them, maybe you're not. So maybe you needed to work on that relationship again. It could be a long distance relationship for all I know, that kind of situation. So yeah, you are going to be focusing more on seventh house matters. And with the sun here, it could be that maybe you are going to engage in a relationship if you're single, or if your relationship or love life has been, dragging, or, all negative, and it feels like doom and gloom. This could be a sign that, happy times are ahead. And if it felt like the passion has died down, this could mean that, some form of excitement could come about. And the sun is always a victory card as well. So, whatever are your plans for your relationship, um, some form of gains and good news could come right there. But I would say that, this could really be more about, there is a correlation with the people that you know, like the people that you already know, and making a partnership of some kind. So it could be a friend turning to a lover, or a used to be friend turning to a lover, that kind of thing. That's very possible. So yeah. And the sun is always, some form of happiness to receive. So there is going to be some form of happiness in terms of your love life. And maybe if you have not, talked to them properly for quite some time now, this is the time wherein you are more willing to talk to them. So yeah. And last but not the least, we do have Pisces having their 10 of Pentacles. So another 10. So like I said earlier, I see the tens as bonds, important bonds that we have or we make, and most of the time they are already existing in our life. So it could also be family or material wealth. So this is activating your sixth house and your 10th house. So this is very interesting because the sixth house is the house of work. The 10th house is a house of your career. So another aspect to this is that the sixth house can also represent problems. It can also represent ex-lovers. Sixth house is the house of ex-lovers. So and the 10th house is your image. So maybe some of you guys are wanting to reconcile with someone, wanting to build a future with them, wanting to have a family with them, that kind of thing. Since the 10th house is about your status in life, your image, and all that. So something is getting clear to you. Maybe you have wronged someone in the past, and now it's a time to make amends to it. If you have misunderstood someone, that those kinds of things. Another aspect to this is that maybe you are going to be spending a lot of time doing a lot of work. Maybe you are going to be building an empire or creating your own business, and you are so busy with that. And this is a reminder that it's okay to be busy and all that, but do make sure that you're still communicating and tending to your loved ones, your partner, those kinds of things. And whenever you have tens like this, it's always a reminder to focus on those people, you know, regardless if it's your family, it's your lover, those kinds of things. It has some form of importance. So yeah. So overall, I feel that each and every one of you guys are going to get some form of news of benefits that is happening. And if it's not benefits, then do know that these cards are going to be acting as a form of advice, like a reminder to you guys. So yeah, this is my forecast for August and August astrology, and thank you guys for watching with me, and please do like, share, subscribe, and comment below if you have any thoughts on this matter. I hope you enjoyed this video with me, and I'll see you guys next time.